Well, welcome to VS Fisheries, but before we talk about what's sitting in the tanks behind me, I'd like to give a bit of a preview of the year. It's been a really busy year for me, the busiest for a long time actually, and that's had a bit of an impact on my own personal fishing. Doesn't mean I haven't been fishing though. The year started, as they tend to, in the spring, and my spring was particularly exciting because not only did I have to do the spawning here at the farm, but I also ended up going out to Gigantica with Dan with the aim to spawn some of those massive French carp. I'd never been to Gigantica before, and people had spoken of this just amazing place, turquoise, blue water, really spectacular surroundings, and I have to be honest, that is exactly what I found. We pulled up in a swim, and Dan had said, oh, this is the swim we should fish in, they come in here around spawning time, and I sat there eating a plate of food. The bailiffs produces fabulous food at the fishery, and I'm looking down the lake and I see what looked like a carp go over, and I thought, looked like a carp to me. Anyway, cut a long story short, I moved swims, and there was just carp leaping all over the place, but not just carp like you might see your British club lake. These were proper donkeys, like pigs with fins, one after another. And for me as a short range angler, I couldn't believe my eyes because they were 20 yards out. So I tied up with shaky fingers, tied up some rigs, put some little sticks on and flicked them out, and had my 3 rods spread out, and I thought, this is it. I'm going to ring Dan Fairbrass in the morning and go, Dan, I've had a 70-pounder out your lake. Anyway, it didn't happen. I had the night from hell, liners all night long, and eventually in the morning when I reeled in, completely having had no sleep, shattered, there were carp eggs all over my line. So I was there to spawn the carp, and it looked like the carp had done it on my arrival, so happy days. Got a weed rake, raked a load of weed in, and the rest is history. They've now got little stock ponds at Gigantica full of baby fish, so hopefully the future is secure out there in France. Next up, through the summer, I got involved with Thinking Tackle. I did 4 shows in a series, which was great. First time I've ever presented a show, and I absolutely loved it. A lot of pressure, but I enjoyed it a lot. First one we did was at the Quarry Lake in Essex with Elliot Gray. What a character. Fantastic to see the way he was fishing with his choddies. I mean, they were choddies and some. Choddies double X, you know, they were this high off the bottom. But my word, they worked, and Elliot caught some fantastic fish. And for me, it was my first show as a lead presenter, and what a way to start. To see a guy emptying the lake was fantastic. Next up, we went down to Todber Manor in Dorset, where I went with Tom Dove. What a great guest. My God, that boy can cast. I mean, I'm a rubbish caster. I hold my hand up. I can't cast unless it's 5 feet in front of me. But Tom Dove was hitting the spot every time, and he was able to say, Simon, you see that little tree there? I'll land it under that. And every single cast straight under, and he caught loads of fish. So that was a great show. And it's nice to go a bit further afield. After that, we headed a bit further again, went down to Digger Lakes, down in Devon, near Clumpton. Fished with my old buddy Ben Gratwick. I've known Ben a long time. It's great to go down there and see his fishery. But unfortunately, we were there in probably the hottest week of the year. Got a good suntan, but the fishing was slow. We had a fish each, and then finally lost one on the last afternoon, just as the rains came. And after that, the fishing in the lake kicked off, as always is the case. And Ben said that the swim he'd been fishing in produced the 3 biggest fish in the lake in the next sort of 12 hours, so fairly typical. Take a camera crew and it's like blanking for certain. So that was that. After Digger Lakes and Todber, I then headed up to Walthamstow, and I fished with Jamie Londus and Billy Flowers, and those guys are machines when it comes to casting and catching carp. Really impressive to see those guys fish. So it was a busy summer. And I didn't get as much fishing for myself, but I was out there and I saw some fantastic displays of angling, casting, baiting up, whatever. So good fun. Had a great time. Anyway, and as I said at the start, behind me in the fish holding tanks here at VS Fisheries, we've got plenty of fish in. At the moment, we've got some C3s. When we talk about C3, we're talking about a 3 summer fish. So a C3 would have been May, they're spawned in May, and they come through at the end of their first year. They'd be like this. We call them C1s. C2s, maybe in old money, would be about £1 to £1.50, and C3s, 3 summer fish, maybe 5 pounders. So we've got some C3s, which I'll show you. We've also got some C4s, and the bulk of our production is C4s. I like C4s from a point of view as a fish farmer selling them out into the industry, because they are pretty much bulletproof. There's not much out there that can harm a C4, and from an angling point of view, if a guy catches them, they've got a proper fish on the end. We've also got some C5s in the tanks behind me, and those will be 5 summer fish, so we'll have a look at some of those. And hopefully, one of the things that I myself and Bashir really set the business up on was that the fish from the farm would all look different. If I remember the places I've enjoyed carp fishing the most, you never know what the next fish is going to look like. So one of the things we've really tried to do is mix it up so all the fish look a bit different. So hopefully, within a batch of fish, you're going to have some ziplineas, some leathers, some sparsely scaled fish, some heavily scaled fish, and a few commons as well. So variety is the spice of life. If Mother Nature holds back and the rain stop coming down, we should be able to finish our harvest by possibly January, February time. Fingers crossed.